So, welcome back to another video after the one that we just literally did about a few minutes ago about the Xbox whole podcast stuff and all of, the great news about the future plans for Xbox and how Xbox is actually staying strong. Well, we actually have to talk about something that they did not address that has actually gotten a lot of fans actually a little bit concerning for the future, including us. Now, they did not mention nothing about game preservation, especially when it especially comes for physical games. Now, if you are somebody that has collected physical games for, the last two, three, whatever console generations, like from the 360, the Xbox One, and even you're still somebody that honestly does that with your PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X especially, well, they haven't mentioned nothing about game preservation, especially when it comes to that, because you got to think we are, it's not been confirmed yet, but it's been basically showed off with the whole FTC crap that happened a few months ago and whatnot, that there is a new Xbox Series X digital only edition with 2 terabytes of storage coming out later this year. Now, even though they have not addressed this, I don't think that Xbox is going to completely abandon physical media. Like, yes, I know that, places like Walmart and like Best Buy and whatever they're just pretty much, getting rid of physical media slow and slow and slow and whatever. But what I think is going to happen is Microsoft is going to follow suit just like what Sony did with the PlayStation 5 Slim, where if you buy the digital version, you pretty much have the option to buy an attachable disk drive. That's honestly what I think Microsoft is honestly going to do. Now, whether if that's going to happen or not, we personally don't know, but there's still quite a bit of people out there that still play, or that still, I should say, own their games physically, and they have, they got like huge amounts of collection of games. Now, personally, we have switched to digital in like 2018, and there's been still some cases where we've been given some games for, like a holiday, or we've actually bought, games on sale for a very good price. And honestly, also collection of physical games, and taking that stuff away, now that's definitely something that I honestly can understand of what people is honestly worried about, and especially for when it comes to the future of Xbox. Yeah, like that's definitely something that I do believe, even if Xbox is not having plans on it, I definitely do think that Xbox is actually going to address this at some point. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to pretty much do what Sony is doing. They're just going to have a digital version of a console, and they're going to give people the option, well, hey, if you are a physical collector and you still buy physical games, guess what? You can buy a physical disc drive, USB physical disc drive, like you can with the PlayStation 5. Now, even though it may not be like the PlayStation 5 where you have to take the console apart and put the disc drive literally in it, they might do something like, a USB disc drive, for an example. Like, you can just buy a disc drive, plug it in with a USB, and then boom, you can just put discs in there and play, your physical games like that. Now, that might not be the case, but honestly, if I was to be a betting man, I honestly do think that that is probably the route that Microsoft is going to go if they do, have attachable, disc drive and whatever, so that way the loyal fans can keep their physical media. And personally, like, if that's what the next generation future Xbox, whatever the heck they're going to call it, is going to be, yeah, that kind of also gives me a little bit worried. And the weird part of it is like, we're already playing digital, or, well, I mean, what I mean to say is, like, we have been basically buying digital games ever since the end of the Xbox One generation, but there are still some 360 games that we do have, and some Xbox One games that we only have on disc, and not being able to have access to those that we bought and such, yeah, that kind of even gets us a little bit, worried and nervous about the future. But as much as I hate to admit it, I honestly just don't think that Xbox is going to completely abandon it. Like, they're going to have some sorts, of like a USB or some attachable disk drive. They're going to have some sorts of something like that, or they're just going to have probably another console option, or, if not, they may just also continue to support the current Xbox Series X and still continue to make them on top of the new, Xbox Series X, because you got to think the current Series X does have a disk drive, but it is only limited to 1 terabyte of storage. Whereas this new digital version, it is going to be basically digital, but you also have 2 terabytes of storage. Now, Microsoft might continue to support the current Series X and just be like, hey, do you want more storage for, having less features, like a non-attachable disk drive, or one without a disk drive, I should say, or you can go with the one with a disk drive, but you lose space. Now, that is honestly what I think Microsoft might actually do, and I will admit that I think that's a smart call. But yeah, I can honestly see why people are just a little bit worried about, their physical media and all of their physical games, because honestly, if Microsoft does completely abandon that and not have either an option to buy a physical disk drive that you can either attach, or just a USB disk drive that you could just plug in via USB and just, put your discs in like that, then yeah, a lot of people's going to be worried, and Microsoft's going to be probably getting a good bit of backlash for it, especially when you got their competitor, Sony, that is actually given that as an option on 2 different model PlayStation 5s, and even with this slim model as well as the OG model. So, yeah, I'm definitely totally with everybody on this one, and honestly, I do think that Microsoft is personally going to have some sorts of, a backup for this, whether if it's going to continue to support the, current 1 terabyte disk drive Xbox Series X, or if they're going to have the option to have a attachable disk drive that you can buy separate, or even a USB that you just plug in via USB and it just goes into the disk drive, and you can just plug your disk drive in a USB and play your physical games through that way. But I do think that Microsoft is not going to do that, especially because they have been the most friendly when it comes to keeping your physical, media and just, game preservations than what Sony and even Nintendo have, done over the years. So I do think that Microsoft has got something up its sleeve for that. But until then, I can understand why everybody is really, really worried about the future of physical media, and at least, not having the option to basically, like, keep playing your physical games. And honestly, then your collection just goes away. Like, all your games there for the future, console generations, then they're just basically useless, and you spent all that money for basically nothing. So I definitely am with everybody on this, and honestly, there are some games that we only have physically, and it would definitely be nice to play them on, the future of Xbox consoles, and just basically future consoles in general, and having the option to buy a disc drive. So, yeah. But that's going to pretty much do it for our second video for today. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you guys could, please hit that like button. Also, subscribe if you are new to this channel, and then also leave us your thoughts down in the comment section down below of Microsoft not addressing, game preservation when it comes to, physical discs and physical media altogether, and whether or not if you think that they are not going to really ban it altogether and they're going to have the option to either support the current Series X with the disk drive with less storage, or if they're just going to pretty much have a USB or attachable disk drive like the Sony PlayStation 5 Slim does. So just let us know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are, if you think Microsoft is going to have one or the other, and if you think that Microsoft might actually just ban, physical media altogether, and then all your discs just, go to dust in the future. So just leave us a comment down in the comment section down below is what I'm trying to say, and hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we will see you on the next video. So peace out and all that. So this is Tech and Gaming Reviews.